There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call...
Anyone who doesn't think this is the very best music throughout recorded history should just jump off a bridge and die. Alternative Radio X.
I came to you with open hands, dust on my boots, no crown, no plans. You lit a match, watched me burn, smiled at the fire, never thought I'd learn. You fed the dark with every lie, cut me deep just to watch me cry. Now I rise from what you've done. You wanted a monster, you got one. Now I walk through fire with a colder grin, a shadow stitched from blood and sin. No more prayers on my rusted tongue. The light is gone and the song's undone. You carved my name on a loaded gun. You wanted a monster, you got one. I begged for grace, you gave me chains, laughed while I drowned in the acid rain. You stitched your love with barbed wire thread, then kissed my cheek while you wish me dead. Now your mirror cracks when you say my name, 'cause the face you shape don't play your game. I'm not your pawn, I'm the loaded drum. You wanted a monster, you got one. Now I howl through storms with a savage soul. No mercy left, no self-control. You built this beast when you came undone. Now I ride the dark where the black dogs run. No place to hide, nowhere to shun. You wanted a monster, so many ways before his heart forgets how to stay. And every ghost you send my way now walks beside me day by day. So pour the whiskey, light the flame, say goodbye to your favorite blame. You built this fire with what you spun. You wanted a monster, and now I've come. I don't need chains, I don't need grace, just the memory of your godless face. You lit this fuse, now watch it run. You wanted a monster, you got one. Yeah, you wanted a monster, and now I'm the one. Careful what you break. Some things come back sharp.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Radio X Night Shift Talk Radio. I'm your host, Gino, and I want to extend a warm welcome to all of you tuning in tonight. We're thrilled to have you here with us, whether you're winding down after a long day or just looking to engage in some thought-provoking conversations. Tonight, we're diving deep into a topic that strikes a chord with so many of us: toxic relationships. from understanding the signs of unhealthy dynamics to sharing ways to heal and move forward. We're here to shed light on a subject that often goes unspoken, so grab your favorite snack, settle in, and get ready for an engaging discussion. And as always, we encourage you to call in with your thoughts, experiences, or questions. Let's get the conversation started and explore together. Tonight, together, the intricate web of relationships will be explored in more ways than one. So thank you once again for joining us on this journey. We truly appreciate your company. So stay tuned, because this night is just beginning.
Dust on my skin, smoke in my chest. Time left me behind like all the rest. You wouldn't know
doesn't think this is the very best music throughout recorded history should just jump off a bridge and die. Alternative Radio X.
Welcome back to Radio X. This is Night Shift Talk Radios, and that right there was an amazing cover by the band Whisper. And if you have not heard them yet, you need to go to the Real Rabbit and Red TV and check them out. They are taking over the music industry one song at a time. But you know what, my people? That's right. We're going to get into our show right now. So let's get into it. I want to start tonight's show with a question. Have you ever loved someone so much it starts killing you? I mean, look, I'm not talking in some fucking pathetic, poetic fairy tale way like you see on the Disney Channel or some shit, you know? I mean, the real type of killing. The slow kind. The one where your soul bleeds while your face still smiles. Yeah, that kind of love is what I'm talking about. It's the toxic, suffocating, addictive love. The kind where you start losing yourself in the name of fixing them. And then you try so hard that you finally wake up one day and you realize, I ain't slept in months. I mean, not really. You dream of them, you breathe for them, you break for them, you bend and fold like a paper crane, hoping they'll finally notice the fucking shape you made, but they never look. They never see it. You know why? Because they never cared. And the saddest part is that you knew that. Deep down, your gut screamed it, but you ignored it because the pain of walking away felt heavier than the pain of staying. That is what a toxic relationship does. It poisons your reality and tells you it's love. It hands you chaos and dresses it up like passion, and it breaks you. And the sad part is you start clapping for the people and cheering them on. You know, the ones who are doing the breaking. It's insane. I know that you gave them everything. Time, heart, respect, loyalty, even the little pieces of yourself that nobody else got to see. You handed them your demons in a glass box. I said, please don't drop this. And you know what they did? They shattered it on purpose, then blamed you for the mess they made. They make you feel crazy for asking for consistency. Too much for wanting effort. Too needy for needing love. And the whole time, you were just hoping they treat you like a human being. Not some background noise that they can just fucking fade out. But let me tell you something. That silence that you got back, that wasn't peace. That wasn't I don't want to argue, so let's just stop. No, that was punishment. They knew what they were doing. Every cold shoulder, every delayed reply, every moment they made you doubt your worth, it was calculated. Not because you weren't enough, but because they knew you were too much for them to handle, and they couldn't stand the reflection of their own emptiness, even if they looked at you with nothing but love. But they don't love. And you stayed, didn't you? Even when it burned, even when your friends and family said, wake up, even when your gut twisted every time they spoke sweet words that never matched their actions. You stayed because you believed in potential. You believed that you could fix them. It's that sick little fantasy that we all fall for, thinking love can heal all people who ain't ready to be healed. You gave them a heart full of gold, and they traded it for attention from strangers. And I am talking, look, I'm not saying they're going out and cheating on you. Look, when I say strangers, I mean fucking friends, neighbors, TVs, co-workers, anybody other than you. And you know what the fucked up part is? You know the one thing that I look at and I go, man, ain't that something? Is that we keep forgiving. We keep lowering our standards just to keep them around. We teach them that we'd never walk. So they stopped trying. They got comfortable taking without giving. They take our time, our love, our loyalty. They never give anything back. They got comfortable in knowing you'd always be there, even if they weren't. That's the twisted power of a toxic person. It's what they feed on. They feed on your fear of abandonment. They smell it like a shark smells blood in the water, and they use it to keep you stuck in place, pacified by broken promises and fake apologies. Now look at us. We're hollow, tired, numb. But hey, we're still breathing, right? We're still standing. That's the thing, though, people. Toxic love doesn't kill you fast. No. It kills your emotions slowly. It makes you forget your own name, your own worth, your dreams. It makes us shrink in rooms that we used to own. It makes us walk like a ghost of our own life. All because we love someone who doesn't even love themselves. Well, let me tell you something. That's not your failure. That's not a flaw in you. That's a flaw in the system that you were trapped in. A system where you had to beg for crumbs and call it a feast, where you had to bleed to prove your loyalty, and you had to beg to be chosen by someone who wouldn't even choose themselves if they were looking in a mirror. And now you're sitting here asking, well, was it me? No, it was never you. It was them. Their chaos, their cowardice, and their inability to face the reflection of someone who truly cared. You scared them. Your love scared them because it was too real for someone used to games. And the sickest part is after everything, we still defend them. After all the lies, the disrespect, the emotional whiplash, we still sit there and say they're just going through something. They're all right. As if that excuses them for gutting you like a fish every time you try to love them the right way. You still make excuses for the way they neglected you, still justify the days they went missing, the nights they ignored you, the moments they made you feel like a burden for needing anything at all. We still protect their name in rooms where people are begging us to finally call them out. And that's how deep they got in our heads. They taught you how to hurt yourself for the sake of protecting them. They made you believe that being loyal meant being silent about your own pain. But I'm telling you, loyalty without respect is slavery. And you were a prisoner in your own heart. You put the key in their hand and begged them not to lock the door. And what did they do? They slammed it shut, threw away the key, and just told you to be grateful they didn't burn the whole place down. You ever wonder why it hurts so much to leave, even when you knew it was killing you to stay? Because toxic love feeds off addiction, not connection. You got addicted to the cycles, the highs and the lows, the I love you, followed by a week of silence, the butterflies that came right before the gut punch. You waited for them to change, but they just changed tactics. They became experts at emotional manipulation, and you became a master of surviving it. You learned to read tone and text messages like they were sacred scripture. and talking about things that are sacred, we right here at the Night Shift Talk Radio need to take a quick commercial break, pay some bills, and get right back to you right here on Radio X Night Shift Talk Radio. And we will get back to this toxic relationship conversation right after this song.
Handshake as the puzzle clicks and hums. The box, it knows the damage it becomes. Twisted steel and souls on fire's edge. Unlock the gates with promises they pledge. Chains snap and rattle through the void, so bleak. Their whispers pierce the silence with a shriek. Faces twist in torment, flesh pulls tight. Pinhead grins, eyes gleaming in the night. Riddle box screams and cries. Hell's playground hidden behind black skies. Every sight more wretched than the last. A labyrinth of pain with a damned dark cast. The Cenobites appear like shadows drawn. Their beauty cruel, their humanity long gone. Pleasure and pain are carved into their creed. The box a lock, yet a gateway we feed. Come closer now, says the voice with command. Exploration of sensations you won't withstand. A roar erupts like fire in my mind. This is hell and ecstasy combined. Hooks tear skin like razors in my dreams. Bound to this terror with unending screams. No light, no mercy, just the echoes of despair. Solving the riddle was a curse beyond compare.
There's a revolution going on in music, and we're stalling. Let the purges begin. The alternative, Radio X.
Welcome back to Radio X Night Shift Talk Radio, and that was the world premiere of Riddlebox by that mega band Whisper. And I just want to take a moment to thank those guys over at Supercracker Studios for sponsoring this episode tonight, as they do all our episodes, and allowing us to play some good tunes and have some fun times with you, our amazing audience. But let's get back into our show, Toxic Relationships. Let's get back to how, during a toxic relationship, man, we stop memorizing their moods better than our own, man. We track their attention like it was oxygen. And somewhere along the line, we stopped living our life and started living theirs. That's the trick. Toxic people don't want love. They want control. They don't want a partner. They want a puppet. And the strings they use, oh man, they're guilt, insecurity, nostalgia. You know, that fake, remember how good we used to be line. They throw it at you whenever they feel you pulling away. But let's be real. It was only good when you didn't ask for anything back. And even now, after all of it, a piece of us still wants to go back. Don't lie. I mean, I know I do. I know you do too. You want to hear their voice. You want to see the name pop up. Get that one text that says, I miss you. You crave closure from the same hand that opened your wounds. Now, let me tell you something cruel, something raw, something that maybe some people don't want to fucking tell you. Well, let's be real. They don't miss you. They miss control. They miss knowing you'd answer the phone no matter what, even if it was fucking 3 a.m. in the morning. They miss knowing they could break you with a sentence and build you back with a lie. They miss the ego boost of being needed by someone they were never willing to need back. That's not love. That's ego. That's manipulation wrapped in nostalgia. And you were the only real thing in that whole illusion. You loved real, you stayed real, and that's why it burns so much. Because fake people will never treat real love the way it deserves. They'll never understand it. They'll only exploit it. You see, you were a storm, a force, and they were just a coward hiding in the comfort zones, scared of anything that felt like depth. We offered them healing, and they chose distraction. You gave them honesty, and they chose games. You gave them loyalty, and they chose whoever fed their ego better that week. And I mean anyone, a neighbor, a coworker, even a fucking TV show became better than you if it fed their ego some. You gave them everything, and they told you it wasn't enough. But that's the poison. They make you take and take themselves. They take until there's nothing left of you. And then they blame you for being empty. And that is the wild part. You still thought that it was your job to refill yourself so they could just drink you dry again. You became your own fucking refueling station for the person who kept crashing into your peace on purpose. And you know what everyone around you does? They fucking applaud you for it. They say, hey, you're strong. But strength isn't how much pain you can swallow. It's how much truth you can face. And the truth is, they never deserved you. Not even close. You ever think about all the nights you stayed up crying? And they were out there, maybe in the next room, maybe with a neighbor, maybe just at work, acting like nothing ever happened? Like you weren't breaking in silence, or they were laughing with someone else. That's what rips you apart the most. It ain't just what they did. It's how fucking easy it was for them. How fucking easy it was to hurt you and sleep like a baby. How easy it was to make you feel unwanted and then turn around and post a fake smile for the whole world to see. But you stayed loyal in silence. They stayed careless out in fucking public. You were protecting their name while they were tarnishing yours behind closed doors. And somehow, fuck man, still blame yourself. You look in the mirror and said, you know what? Maybe if I was fucking more this, less that. But you know what? You were already more than they ever deserved. And that's the twisted part. They knew it. Oh, fucking right they did. But instead of leveling up and growing up, they tried to drag you down. Instead of growing with you, they broke you down just so they could feel taller. See, when a toxic person meets someone pure, they don't know how to handle it. So they sabotage it. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you were too good for the mess that they were hiding in. And you know what hurts the most? It wasn't the betrayal. I mean, not really. It was the realization that you meant every word you said, and they didn't. You planned forever. They planned convenience. You gave effort. They gave bare minimum. You stayed when things got hard. They left when it stopped being fun. You fucking fought for the bond. They fought for control. And you know what's insane? They came back. Some broken part of us we still want to give them another chance. That's what toxic love does. It builds a home inside of our trauma. It makes us crave the pain we once begged to be freed from. It creates a loop. Just weird, fucking sick, emotional loop that convinces us the pain is proof of love. But it ain't. I mean, let's be real. Pain isn't love. Confusion isn't love. Begging to be chosen every damn day isn't love. You know what that sounds like to me? That's war. That's survival mode. That's emotional starvation, and no one deserves to starve like that. We kept forgiving. I know I did. We forgave them when they disappeared. Forgave them when they flirted with others, and we have all seen it. Let's be fucking real. We forgave them when they blamed you for their coldness, and every time that you forgave them, they learned something, didn't they? They learned that your love could be abused without consequence. That no matter how low they went, you'd still be there, holding that door wide open. But here's the truth that they'll never admit. I'm telling you right now, listen closely. They'll never admit this. They never thought you'd actually leave. That's right. They saw the way you loved. They saw how deeply you cared. And that's what toxic people do. They see these things. They see how willing you were to stay and fight for them. So they took advantage of it. They thought our love made us weak. But now that you're gone, now that your silence is louder than all your begging ever was, they're starting to feel it. That emptiness, that echo of regret. They may not say it, may not show it, but it's there, creeping in their chests at night when they see your name and realize they can't reach you anymore. That's right. That's when the tables start to turn. Not when you argue, not when you cry, when you go silent. That's the part that they never expected. And I get it. You're angry. Not just at them, but at yourself. You're angry for staying for so long. You're angry for betraying your own standards and angry for losing pieces of yourself just to hold on to someone who never deserved to be held. And don't hate on yourself. Don't be mad at yourself. You know, don't hate yourself for how deeply you loved. Don't hate for being real in a world that worships fake. Don't hate yourself for hoping they change. That hope, that love, that fire inside you, that's your power. That's the part of you they couldn't kill, even if they tried. That means you survived. And you didn't just survive them. You survived yourself. You survived your guilt, your shame, your attachment, that voice that kept saying, just one more chance. You silenced it. You walked away. And that walk, that wasn't just a walk. That was a funeral parade for every lie you swallowed, every moment you settled, every time you said, I'm fine, when you were breaking inside. That was the rebirth. That was the start of the version of you who don't chase, don't beg, and don't break for the same people. Who never, ever would break or bleed for you. You ever realize how they never really apologize? Have you guys ever realized that? They never really apologize. I mean, not the way they should have. I can almost guarantee you, not once did they look you in your fucking eyes and say, I hurt you and I'm sorry. No way did they. What they did was they twisted it. They flipped the script and made you feel guilty for reacting to the wounds they caused. You cry too much? I mean, you're just dramatic. You ask for clarity? You're needy. You wanted effort? You're ungrateful. That's the game they played. They turned your fucking emotional needs into burdens. They gaslit you into questioning your own reality. And over time, you started to. You started to believe them. You started to shrink yourself, to speak softer, to apologize for feeling too deeply. You edited your soul so they wouldn't feel uncomfortable around your love. You watered down your truth so it didn't drown their lies. And slowly, without ever noticing, you stopped being you. You became a version of yourself that was more digestible for everybody. It was less intimidating, easier to neglect, and they love that version. Not because they loved you. No, fuck no. But because it made them feel superior. Made them feel in control. But deep down, they always knew the truth. They were never on your level. That's why they needed to dim your lights, you know. Standing next to you in your full power, that terrified them. You ever notice how they only show up when they feel you pulling away? Come on now. That wasn't love. That was fear of losing control. They didn't come back because they missed your heart. They came back because they missed having access to it. There's a difference. And you knew it. That's why every "I miss you" starts to sound hollow. Every "let's talk" felt like a reset button on your progress. They didn't come back to fix anything. They came back to pause your healing. Because as long as you were still wrapped up in them, still hoping, still waiting, you weren't moving on, were you? You weren't growing past them. And that's all they wanted, to keep you emotionally stuck. You were never their future, even if they say that you are or said it. You're just their emotional safety net. Someone who a toxic person could fall back on when their ego took a hit somewhere else. And you let them. You let them come and go like your heart was a hotel and they had a room reserved under maybe one day. But let's be real. They never planned on staying. They just liked the comfort of knowing you'd still be there, even after all the damage was done. And now you sit there with scars. They may not be visible to the world, but you know those emotional scars, they'll never be visible, but they'll hurt more than any pain you've ever had. They'll ache every time someone says their name. You've got memories that replay like nightmares, places you can't go, songs you can't hear, dates on the calendar that still punch you in your gut. That's what a toxic relationship does. It doesn't just end. It echoes. It haunts. It leaves fingerprints on your soul. And everyone around you will just say, move on. Get over it. Find someone new. As if healing is like a fucking light switch. As if grief comes with a fucking timer. But they don't know what it felt like. They don't know how long you held on. How many versions of yourself you destroyed just to make it work. How many nights you sat with your phone in your hand, heart racing, mind running, praying they fucking call. Just so you could feel alive again. That's the withdrawal of a toxic relationship. That's the addiction. It's not easy to break. But you will. Not all at once, but in pieces. How can I put this? You'll start to see them for who they are. Not who they'd hope they become. You'll stop blaming yourself for the way they treated you. You'll start speaking your truth, even if your voice shakes. And one day, you'll look back and say, fuck, I really made it out of that? And when that day comes, and it will, don't expect them to clap for you. Don't expect the congratulations or you were right. People like that don't apologize for shit. They don't self-reflect. They don't admit fault. Because if they did, they'd have to face the truth that they lost the best thing that ever happened to them. And that truth, that's too heavy for a coward's conscience. So they'll pretend like they never cared. Like you meant nothing. Well, that's just noise. Silence is where the truth lives. And in that silence, when their phones don't light up, when your name don't pop up, when they start wondering if someone else gets the love they threw away, that's when the regret kicks in. Quiet, slow, deep. They won't show it, but they'll feel it in every damn way, every fucking day. And you'll be free. Not just from them, but from the version of yourself that they needed to make them feel whole. And with that, man, it is getting pretty deep and emotional right now. So let's just sit back. We're going to jam out to another song from that mega band Whisper. And then we're going to be right back, right here on Radio X, the Night Shift Talk Radio.
A night off. Pasta place betray, sneak in like a bandit, twist your waist, next thing you expand it. Breast stack, trap door, downfall you tumble. Ain't got time for stumbles, warrior in the jungle. Cars wanna creep, but I ain't catching them. Dodging bread, trap, crack, cause biscuits in the emblem. Zero tolerance, cause my nemesis in the game. Fitness on the rise, only gaining muscle fame. Pizza slice taunted, but my wheel ain't breaking. Hustle every night, these abs I'm creating. Caffeinated drive, donut circles in my draft. 50 bowls on the last laugh, left them in the past. Scheming sweet plots, they hitting in the cereal. Box lies, price eyes, stepping past no cereal. Cheesecake fake, try to lead me to the edge, but my path too real, ain't falling off the ledge. Cars wanna creep, but I ain't catching them. Dodging bread, trap, practice, biscuits in the emblem. Zero tolerance, cause my nemesis in the game. Fitness on the rise, only gaining muscle fame.
Anyone who doesn't think this is the very best music throughout recorded history should just jump off a bridge and die. Alternative Radio X.
And welcome back to Radio X Night Shift Talk Radio. And that was Carb Killer. That's right, carbs are the enemy, from that mega band Whisper. And you can only find them on the Real Rabbit and Red TV on YouTube. And not only will you find that band Whisper, no, not it, you are going to also find every episode of Night Shift Talk Radio there, starting with this one right here, episode 1. That's right, first episode going up after this is done. And what were we talking about today? We are talking about toxic relationships. And we're just going to dive right back into it. Every once in a while, we need to take a break, listen to some good tunes, and just kind of reset ourselves. So we're just going to get right back into it. And you know what's wild about getting back into this toxic relationship stuff is how long it takes to unlearn a lie that you tell yourself every day just to sleep at night. You know what lie I'm talking about. They'll change. You say it like a prayer. Like maybe if you held on tighter, cried harder, or proved yourself more, they finally wake up and see what they had. You gave them patience they didn't earn. You gave them forgiveness they never even asked for. And every time they came back with those sugar-coated words, those soft lies wrapped in familiar tones, you folded. You cracked. Because the pain of starting over felt heavier than the pain of staying stuck. You feared loneliness more than disrespect. That's what toxic love does. It convinces you that pain is safer than peace. It trains your brain to believe that being chosen inconsistently is better than being alone. But let me tell you this straight right now. You were never afraid of being alone. You were afraid of being forgotten. You were afraid that if you walked away, they replace you overnight. Post pictures, fake smiles, and act like you were just another chapter they closed without flinching. That's the fear they programmed in you to keep you trapped in a place where your needs were ignored, your love was exploited, and your worth was measured by how much pain you could swallow with a straight face. Let me ask you something. How much longer were you going to die for someone who wouldn't even bleed for you? How many more versions of yourself were you willing to destroy to keep someone else whole? You bleed out emotionally while they walked around like nothing happened. You kept saying, it's just a phase. They're stressed. They're scared. They're healing. And maybe some of that was true. But I mean, guess what? Healing is not a fucking excuse to harm. Pain ain't a pass to abuse. You gave them grace. You gave them time. You gave them chances. And they took every one of those gifts and spit on them. Because they knew they fucking could. You taught them you'd stay no matter what. You conditioned them to believe that your love had no limits, no consequences, no expiration date. And when someone learns that, they stop valuing you. Not because you're not valuable, but because they never had to pay the cost of losing you. You made it too easy, too comfortable. You turned your heart into a home for someone who was only ever visiting. You see, the problem wasn't that you loved too much. No. The problem was that you didn't demand to be loved properly in return. You made excuses for absence. You rationalized inconsistency. You applause for bare minimum. You normalized being an afterthought. And what did it teach them? That they could show up when they wanted, leave when they pleased, and you'd still be there, arms wide open, heart on your sleeve. But you know what? One day, maybe you didn't answer. One day, you didn't chase. One day, the phone rang and you didn't pick up. And that's when it starts to hit them. The silence, the void, the absence of your presence. You see, people like that don't value what they have. They value what they can't have. They don't feel the loss until the access is denied. And when that day comes, and it always comes, they'll scroll through old pictures, read old text, and wonder how they manage to fuck up someone who would never, I mean, think about it. You would have gone to war for them. But by then, it'd be too late. The damage will be permanent. And you, well, hopefully you'll be far gone. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You'll be a version of yourself that they'll never get access to again. So here's the hard truth. Stop looking for closure in the same place that broke you. Stop hoping for the apology that's not coming. Stop checking if they still watch your stories, if they still ask about you, if they finally feel what you felt, because none of that matters. What matters is that you finally chose you. You chose peace over chaos, self-worth over pity, silence over the screaming, and that's strength. That's what real healing looks like. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet. Quiet decisions that say, I've had enough. And maybe your heart still aches sometimes. I mean, there's going to be nights where the ghost sits beside you. And that's okay. Healing is not a straight line. But every time you choose not to go back, every time you resist the urge to check on them, and every time you say, I deserve more, you win. Not over them. Over the old version of you that believed pain was a love language. That's the real battle. And you are finally winning it. And you know what's funny is that the way they act like you were the crazy one all along. Like all the pain you carried, all that confusion, all those nights you questioned your own fucking sanity, none of it ever happened. Like you made it all up in your head. That's how twisted toxic people are. They'll break your ribs and then call you dramatic for flinching when they reach for you. They'll set fire to your peace and then ask, why are you always so emotional? You were begging for honesty and they called it pressure. You were asking for love and they called it obsession. But in reality, you were just asking for whatever human deserves. Every single person. Respect, consistency, presence. That's not clingy. That's not too much. That's called standards. But when someone used, and they get used to it, when someone's used and gets used to getting away with the bare minimum, even your boundaries feel like attacks. You set a line and they call you difficult. You speak the truth and suddenly you're the villain of their story. That's a sick game they play. They paint you as unstable just to dodge accountability. And the worst part, sometimes you believe them. You internalize it. You thought maybe you were too intense. Maybe too sensitive. Too complicated to love. But you know what? Here's some brutal and honest truth for you guys. It wasn't that you were too much. It was that they were never enough, and they knew it. Deep down, they always knew they couldn't match your depth. Couldn't stand next to your loyalty without feeling exposed. So instead of leveling up, they dragged you down, made you question your voice, made you quiet your instincts. They couldn't destroy your strength directly, so they chip away at your confidence until you barely recognize yourself. That is the slow death of toxic love. Doesn't kill you all at once. It rots you in pieces. First, your self-worth. Then your clarity. Then your peace. Until one day, you're sitting in a room full of your own confusion, wondering how someone you loved so much made you hate yourself just to stay in their life. That ain't love. That's emotional warfare. That's psychological sabotage. And if anyone tells you it's normal, walk away. Walk fast. Because real love doesn't feel like self-destruction. Real love holds space for your heart, even when it's heavy. Real love doesn't punish you for feeling too deeply. It honors it. And now after all of it, they're gonna walk around like they were the victims, like they survived you, posting quotes about toxic people and acting like they didn't cause every scar you're still trying to heal from. But don't bite that bait. Don't react. Don't try to clear your name in rooms they're poisoning them. Let them talk. Let them lie. Let them perform. Because the truth, it doesn't need defending. It survives without your efforts. And you're not here to beg for understanding. You're not here to plead your case. You're here to rebuild quietly, powerfully, and alone, if you have to. Let the storm rage. Let them mock you. Let them pretend. But don't break your silence to educate someone who chose to misunderstand you. Don't lose your peace trying to win their pity. You've already bled enough. You have already given more than anyone with self-respect should ever. This is your moment to reclaim the pieces they scattered, to become the version of yourself you buried beneath their approval. And it won't happen in one night, but it will happen. One choice at a time, one breath at a time, one boundary at a time. So if you're still missing them tonight, it's okay. If your heart still aches, that's okay. Healing ain't about erasing the love. It's about facing the truth. It's about loving yourself enough to say, even though I care, I refuse to suffer in the name of love. You're not weak for missing them. You're human. But you're stronger for not going back. That strength, that's what they'll regret the most. Not the loss of your body, not the end of your attention, but the fact that they'll never again have access to the soul that would have gone through fire just to keep them warm. That's the real consequence. And it don't need revenge. They don't need closure. Just distance and silence. The kind of silence that screams louder than any argument ever could. You had me. And you destroyed me. And now you'll never get another chance. Now you sit here picking up what's left of yourself. Like shattered glass in a room you didn't even break. Bleeding with every piece you tried to hold on to. Wondering how the fuck did someone you gave your world to end up being the one who destroyed it? And the answer is simple. It's not complicated. People who are empty inside, they crave light, but they don't know how to hold it. They don't know how to protect it. So when they get close to someone who glows for real, not that fake surface fucking level confident guy, but that real, deep, soul-driven light, they panic. Because next to you, they felt small, transparent, unworthy. You showed up real. They showed up ready. You showed up with everything they prayed for, but they were still stuck in their own darkness. So they tried to pull you into it. Not because they hated you, because they hated themselves. And they couldn't stand the reflection you held up just by loving them right. That's the bitter irony of it. You weren't like a problem. You were the mirror. But being a mirror, let me tell you, being that mirror is not easy. Because people ain't ready to see the truth about themselves. You loved them gently, but they flinched. You held space for them, but they ran. You tried to build something that could last, and they kept bringing demolition tools. And the whole time, you thought it was all you. You questioned every step, every word, every feeling. You studied their reactions like a fucking map, trying to find a path back to when things were good. But the truth is, things were never real. Not on their side, at least. They like the way you make them feel. Safe, seen, admired. But they never actually wanted to become the person that you saw in them. That required growth. That required effort. That required looking in the mirror and facing the damage. And let's be real. Most people would rather break you than fix themselves. So what do you do now? You stand up. You're bruised. You're tired. You're carrying memories that feel like chains some nights. But you still got breath in your chest. You still got a fire that they couldn't put out. And now you use that. You take that pain, that betrayal, that confusion, and you turn it into focus. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing. You stop hoping they'll come back with the right words. Because even if they did, they wouldn't mean them. They just missed the power, the control, the version of you that didn't know better. But that version, that one's dead. You buried it the day you chose peace over chaos. You buried it the day you stopped begging for the bare minimum. And every step forward, now that's a funeral march for every lie they fed you. Every silent treatment, every I don't know what I want, every moment they made you feel like you were too hard to love, you weren't. They just didn't have the capacity to love anyone, not even themselves. And yeah, the world won't clap for your growth. There'll be no pat on the back. They won't throw you a party for walking away from hell. But I will. I will stand right here in the ashes of that version of you and say it loud. You survived what was designed to break you. You survived emotional starvation. You survived psychological warfare. You survived loving someone who made you feel like a stranger in your own fucking heart. And now you build slowly, quietly. And one day, someone's going to look into your eyes and see everything they couldn't. And they'll wonder why you're so careful, why you don't open up easily, why you take your time, and why you'll just smile, because you'll know the last time you gave your heart away without thinking, it almost killed you. It's tragic that somewhere deep down, some part of you still hopes they'll come back different, still hopes they'll wake up, run to you with open arms, and finally say everything you needed to hear. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. I knew what I was doing. But let me rip that Band-Aid off for you right now, and it's gonna hurt. That day ain't coming. Not because you don't deserve the apology, not because you didn't earn the respect, but because people like that don't come back with truth. They come back with hooks, with bait. They come back with life humbles them, not when love changes them. And when they do show up, that's if they do. It won't be to fix things. It'll be to see if you're still weak for them. If you'd still drop everything at the sound of their voice. That's the test. And if you fail it, you get dragged all over again. This time deeper. Because second chances with the wrong person, that's not hope. That's relapse. And it hits harder because now you knew better. You can't even play dumb anymore. You knew the fire was hot and you still stuck your hand back in it, thinking maybe this time it'll be warm. But the pain doesn't change. Only you can. And you think about that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to another song right here on Radio X Night Shift Talk Radio.
In the shadows they are creeping close. Midnight whispers from a ghostly host. Eyes like embers, they cut through the dark. Dream warriors in the round they mark. Voices echo and tangle webs we weave. Cold fingers linger, nightmares never leave. Twisted corridors with no way to turn. Every corner hides a soul to burn. Dream warriors, in your nightmare they fight. In your sleep, don't close your eyes tight. Falling deeper into an endless fright. Dream warriors will
there's a revolution going on in music, and we're stalling. Let the purges begin. The Alternative Radio X.
And welcome back to Radio X Night Shift Talk Radio. That right there was Dream Warriors from the Harlequin, from the Mega Man Whisper. And you need to check them out on the Real Rabbit and Red TV on YouTube. Not only will you find their music, but you will find Radio X Night Shift Talk Radio there as well. Before we took on break, I asked you guys to just think about everything I have said. Now we're going to wrap this show right up in a tight bow. And I got a few things to say. You know, when it comes to toxic relationships and toxic people, do you think that they think about you? I mean, maybe in pieces they do. Maybe when the silence gets too loud, or when the face of the person they replaced you with starts to blur. Maybe when they pass by the place that you used to go, or hear that one song. But here's the catch. They won't reach out. At least not because they miss you. They'll reach out because they miss the power you gave them, the leash. The ability to break you and watch you rebuild yourself overnight just to make them comfortable again. But if you're smart, if you've grown, you won't answer. Not because you're petty. Not because you want revenge. But because you've finally outgrown being anyone's emotional punching bag. You've finally realized that not everyone deserves access to you, no matter how much history is attached to their name. You've learned that healing don't always come with a goodbye. Fuck, sometimes healing is just going silent. Sometimes it's walking away without a word, without closure, without a fucking warning. And when they call, if they say that's disrespect, just smile. Because they never saw your kindness as respect when it was serving them. You want real peace. I mean, that kind that don't depend on who's texting you or who's missing you. Well, and here it is. You have to bury the hope that they'll change. You have to grieve the version of them you created in your mind. Because that version, it never existed. You fell in love with the potential, not the reality. You were loyal to the idea of who they could have been if they weren't so broken, so selfish, so emotionally immature. But potential doesn't hold you at night. It doesn't say sorry. It doesn't undo damage. And loving someone's potential is the fastest way to betray your reality. You deserve someone who shows up in the present, not someone who lives in your imagination. And yeah, I get it. You missed the good times. But don't forget, every toxic relationship comes with a highlight reel. The laughs, the late nights, the moments of affection. But those were just flashes, glimpses, not the truth. The truth was in how they made you feel when you needed them. The truth was in how they made you question yourself just to keep the peace. The truth was in your tears, your doubts, your silence. And now the truth is, you stayed longer than you should have. But you're not staying anymore. And that wraps up tonight's episode of Night Shift Talk Radio here on Radio X. We've journeyed through the complexities of toxic relationships, dissecting how they can shape our lives and the importance of recognizing when it's time to take a step back. I hope tonight's discussion resonated with you and empowered you to prioritize your well-being. Remember, you're not alone in this. Many share similar experiences. Reaching out for support can be the first step towards healing. As we close this chapter, I invite you to reflect on what you've learned. Look inwards and consider what healthy relationships mean for you. And make sure you join me next week as we tackle another pressing topic that's close to the heart. Until then, take care of yourself and each other. This is Gino signing off from Night Shift Talk Radio. Remember, you deserve to thrive, not just survive. Good night.
Round the outside Trailer Park Road, G Vegas life lived by wild code. Colonel Gino style throwing elbows. Rusty trucks, but we still got them goals. Round the outside, round and round. Trailer Park girls, they hold it down. G Vegas gritty, never back down. Colonel Gino's army, run this town. Tall boys crack dusk till dawn. Baggy jeans, old school pawn. Pit bull barking on the lawn. Scrapping in the yard, game face on. Moonshine sips, nights get wilder. Trailer homes ain't no outlier. Rolling deep grip on the tire. Colonel Gino, raise them higher. Screens on porches, flickering lights. Bonfire crackles, southern nights. East Coast kings, ready for fights. G Vegas rebels, take our rights. Round the outside, round and round. Trailer Park girls, they hold it down. G Vegas gritty, never back down. Colonel Gino's army, run this town.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Night, Ben.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Go to sleep.